ever played. Dave Conway here from the Gulf Coast Showcase. Let's bring you those starting lineups for the visiting number 12 West Virginia Mountaineers at 7-0 on the season under second-year head coach Mark Kellogg. Same starting five as yesterday, as it has been for a majority of the season. Four guards and a forward for the Mountaineers, starting with Sidney Shaw, the 5'9" junior from Miami, Florida, coming off an 8-point day yesterday against the High Point Panthers. Following her, Jordan Harris, and point guard 5'6" junior from Oklahoma City, Stephen F. Austin transfer, a double-digit day for her as one of three Mountaineers in double figures with 13 points. J.J. Kennedy led West Virginia in scoring yesterday with 22 points, the 5'8" senior from Norfolk, Virginia, and the fourth guard, Kaya Watson, the 5'10" senior from Rapid City, South Dakota, who passed 600 rebounds yesterday against High Point with 7 boards. The final of the starting five for the Mountaineers, Kylie Blackson, 6'3" senior from Colorado Springs, Colorado, 9 points, 8 boards yesterday for Kylie. Meanwhile, for the Boise State Broncos, also at 7 out of the Mountain West Conference, their number 5 is back in for today. Tatum Thompson defense the four guard the 6'1" junior from Washington, having the best streak of his career, 5 consecutive wins.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome you into Game 3 here, Day 2 at the Women's Gulf Coast Showcase. A matchup between two undefeated teams, 34 remain in the women's college basketball landscape, and we have two on hand today. The West Virginia Mountaineers, the Boise State Broncos, and Coach, as we announce our starting lineups, it's Sidney Shaw, Jordan Harrison, J.J. Quinterly, Kaya Watson, and Kylie Blackstein of the Mountaineers. And for the Broncos, looking to pull the big upset against the Big 12 foe, it'll be Tatum Thompson, Maya Hansen, Mary Kay Narrow, Natalie Pascal, and Abby Muse for the Broncos. Coach, I know we've had this matchup highlighted with an opportunity to play for a Gulf Coast Showcase Championship tomorrow. How are we feeling?
What an exciting matchup we have here to start off this evening's contest. Two undefeated teams, one out of the Mountain West, Boise State 7-0. West Virginia comes in at 7-0, ranked number 12 in the nation out of the Big 12, favored to win the Big 12 this year. Should be an exciting start to this one.
Got to shout out our guy, Big Mac, for getting our graphic ready to rumble here at the Gulf Coast Showcase. All brought to you by FloHoops. Are there any players in our starting lineups today that, Coach, stand out that go, hey, either squad, they've got to play their very best to walk away with a win?
Well, I think when you look at Boise State, they're going to rely on each other. Very much team scoring will be key for them. They don't have to have one player go off big. Staying poised, handling West Virginia's stingy defensive pressure is going to be key. And for West Virginia, a lot of people that can put up big numbers for them, but J.J. Quinterly by far leading this West Virginia team early in the season.
Nice mid-range jump for Thompson, no good. I got my eye on the young lady that just won the tip, Abby Muse, 7th in the country with 21 blocks on the year. Her presence in that low block going to be so important to walk with a win as she comes flying by. Blackson can't get the runner to go. To your point, a collaborative impact from the scoring standpoint. They're going to really have to rebound well as a team today because that defense for West Virginia forcing close to 30 turnovers per game. And here's one as we get started. It's going to have to be roll call to the basketball on the glass.
Well, anyone playing West Virginia has to be able to withstand the pressure, withstand their runs, play with poise. And what West Virginia does really well is they exploit you from a fundamental standpoint. If you're not solid with ball handling, nice block. If you're not solid with your ball handling, your ability to pass, pivot, then you're going to get in trouble really quick against West Virginia.
It's Kaya Watson, a nice backdoor find from Quinterly, but having her shot turned away was Tatum Thompson. Sidney Shaw, a nice short corner runner, and she's got our first bucket of the game. Sidney Shaw, who led the way. Big night. She had 14, but also three steals as well. The Auburn transfer from Miami, Florida, a little return to the Sunshine State gets us going. West Virginia sitting back in a little zone here, giving a different look to the Broncos.
Well, and they do that. They mix up their defenses. We know they like to pick up full court after a make or even a miss.
Wing three. Gonna have to knock down a whole lot of those to upset the Mounties. And Maya Hansen, the 41% three-point shooter, buries the triple.
When I was talking to the Boise State staff and asking them about their philosophy from the three-point line, they want to take it. They're taking 24 threes a game, shooting over 34% from the three-point line. It's definitely their philosophy. They're going to probably try to get up a lot of those tonight.
Thompson looking for, how about this play? Quinterly, Big 12 reigning defensive player of the year with the steal. Here's her back court mate on the other end. Harrison can't get it to go. Mary Kay Nara, the point guard, going to be so pivotal today for the Boise State Broncos. We talked about it, her mom, Coach G, and her two sisters also in this tournament at Beaverton High. Nara had a nice day for the Broncos yesterday in their win against Illinois State. The shot clock dwindling down. Here's Natalie Pascal. Pascal with a nice runner off the back iron.
And how cool is it when your grandfather is Coach Adelman, former head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves? I'm sure he's tuned in. What a joy watching his grandkids play all in the same tournament.
Top 15 foe, Mary Kay and her sister Mackenzie on Boise State. Her other sister we saw earlier today, the showcase, playing for Santa Clara. Here's Narrow, cross-court pass to Pasco. Ball moving quickly right now for the Broncos. Narrow lines up a three. Won't get it to go, and an over the back from Abby Muse, her first. You know, Coach, these two teams playing such different ball games yesterday. If you remember, it was Boise State, and Danny Bays, her game-winning layup with half a second on the clock to beat Illinois State. And for the Mountaineers, similar to what we've seen really all year, just blowing teams out of the water. Does playing in a close game for Boise State maybe help them in this matchup?
Well, I think so, and they've already been a little battle-tested. They've won a game at Colorado already this season. And how about Quinterly? Just passing the ball to herself. She should get an assist on that. She threw that off the glass so she could go up and put it back in.
Rebound, assist, and now how about a steal? J.J. Quinterly, she wants another one. Here's Jordan Harrison. Kick out to Quinterly. Quinterly, corner pocket. No good as Abby Muse fights for the rebound. The lamp up in the hands of Blackston.
J.J. just picking the pocket of Narrow. You got to use your body to protect the ball when J.J.'s guarding you.
J.J. Quinterly. For those that are just joining us on the weekend, out West Virginia, second in the entire country, first in the Big 12 when it comes to steals per game, turnovers forced per game. As Pascal misses the three long, rebounded by Watson. The pace up and down. This is by far the most we've seen any team in transition so far in the showcase. Boise State playing into the Mountaineers' hands and so far being able to hold their own.
Great hustle by Muse to disrupt that transition by West Virginia.
Muse got into a little bit of foul trouble yesterday as she gets there late to Blackson. Great defense by Muse. We told you, 7th in the country at her first block today. There's Tatum Thompson being defended by Kaya Watson. Watson a little bit too handsy. Will get called with her first foul. Checking in for West Virginia. Really impressed with this young lady yesterday. Jordan Thomas, just a freshman from Carrollton, Texas, recorded her first collegiate double-double at 18 and 10 in their victory last night.
Yeah, and her ceiling is really high for the Mountaineers. Great game, as you mentioned yesterday. Gets subbed in early today. She's only going to continue to grow.
Jordan Harrison jumps into the passing lane. She'll have an easy layup on the other end. Mountaineers, it happens so fast defensively. Broncos moving the ball well. Right when you think you've dissected the zone, they got you. Here's another steal. Quinterly's already got 3 steals in this ball game. Pick and pop, looking for Shaw. Rebound wide. Smooth little up and under. She laughs and points at Shaw. Call it an assist or a missed shot. It don't matter. 2 more for the Mounties.
And something you see early on in this game is West Virginia's superior athleticism. They're quicker to the ball, quicker to some rebounds, quicker down the court. And that's something right there that's going to be huge for Boise State to have a chance and hang around with number 12 in the country. They are going to have to be hot from the three-point line, getting good looks early, not knocking them down.
West Virginia forcing 30 turnovers per game, number 2 in the entire country. They've already forced 5 through 5 minutes of play. Mountaineers holding a 5-point lead. The Gulf Coast Showcase, all brought to you by FloHoops. See you on the other side of this short break. Welcome you back into the Hertz Arena, home of the Florida Everblades, the 3-time ECHL hockey champions. College basketball showdown between the Boise State Broncos and the West Virginia Mountaineers. Jack DeLongchamp sitting alongside Marlene Stallings, the legendary head coach. And Coach Stallings, again, 5 turnovers already forced. And on cue, how about 6? What's so impressive to you about what the Mountaineers have not only been able to do this year, but last year as well, under Coach Mark Kellogg on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, and already 6 points off those turnovers. You know, that's his philosophy, it's his style, and he's come into West Virginia with a fury defensively. Created all kinds of havoc. He's got Mountaineer Nation on watch. Big crowds have been showing up at their home games. A lot of excitement in Morgantown about this team. Coming off of an incredible run last year, they take Iowa down to the wire at Iowa in the NCAA tournament, a team that, as we know, had Caitlin Clark and eventually ended up in the Final Four. Returned 4 or 5 starters from that team and have added some crucial, nice additions, which we'll talk to throughout the game. Talk about throughout the game, excuse me.
Well, it doesn't matter when we start talking about it, because another steal for the Mountaineers. This time, Jordan Harrison off to the races. And Coach, too, you talk about this West Virginia team, 4 or 5 starters. And for Coach Kellogg, 25 wins last year in his first season. That's the most in program history on our first-year coaches. Danny Bays, who had that clutch game winner yesterday in double-digit points, knocks down her first 3. An attempt from the field.
Boise State's going to take them. Can they hit them?
Harrison hiding behind the Thomas screen. So pretty, drains the triple.
Harrison says, you can do it, I can do it. Right back at you. She's shooting 44% from the three-point line for the Mountaineers.
So much attention garnered for J.J. Quinterly, and rightfully so, the Naismith preseason watch list nominee. Keep your eye on Jordan Harrison. Just as dangerous in that backcourt. Harrison averaging 16 and 6 with a 36-14 assist-to-turnover ratio. One of the best-kept secrets in a backcourt around the country. She and Quinterly, so dynamic,
nice
is now
pass.
Quinterly's turn with a sweet assist.
And that's just it. Quinterly has the ability to get into the paint at will with her speed and athleticism. And if you send a secondary defender, she's going to burn you on the pass.
Literally already with 2 assists. Kaya Watson going to pull down the board. Such a small window. We showed you that replay. Somehow she's able to find it. 2 to go here. West Virginia with a 17-6 lead. This is Harrison's turn down. They're going back and forth right now. Doesn't matter the big, doesn't matter the guard. They are slicing and dicing offensively.
Harrison, great court vision herself. What a pass.
This has got to be one of the most fun backcourts in America. This Elodie Lalott kicking back out to Narrow. Narrow to Thompson. See if Narrow lines up a 3 and a little strong. Watson pulls down another rebound, her 4th already.
Something West Virginia does is they speed you up offensively, and you see a couple of those threes already been really rushed. If you're Boise State, you have to have your feet ready, your hands ready. You can't catch the ball and get ready after the fact against West Virginia. They're going to recover too.
Shot clock dwindling down. Harrison doesn't use the screen and maybe a little too fancy around the rim as she misses the open layup. Here's Danny Bays lining up a wide open 3, and you're right. Even the open looks, they're just so sped up though right now.
Yeah, and that's what West Virginia does to you.
Well, Sydney Shaw off to another big start today. She's got 5, and right now West Virginia making her 7 of their last 8 shots and are on a 20-3 run.
And this West Virginia team has multiple people that can score as well. They're Shaw shooting 44% from 3. 3rd leading scorer for the Mountaineers at 13 a game.
Well, we get to catch our breath. The shot clock finally turned off. A 20-3 run for the Mounties. 10-0 run over the last 2.5. And the Mounties will hold for the last shot. This, Watson. Watson back to Harrison. Harrison looking for Thomas down underneath. At just the 2nd personal foul so far on Boise State. The 1st on Elodie Lalott. West Virginia will inbound underneath. Checking in for the Mountaineers, it's Celia Riviere and also Sydney Woodley. Woodley, who had 7 steals in that game. Boise State checking in for the first time today. Libby Hutton, the freshman, who had a big time first Gulf Coast showcase.
How about Woodley's 7 steals? I mean, that's like a 3-game total, and she did it coming off the bench.
Here's Quinterly at the buzzer, going and playing amongst the trees, gets her own rebound, has it swatted away by Danny Bays. Well, the number 12 team in the country was as good as advertised. They lead by 18, thanks to a 20-3 run over the last 7 minutes of the play. Mountaineers lead here at the Gulf Coast Showcase. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back into Estero, Florida, home of the Hertz Arena. Our Gulf Coast Showcase has reached day 5, Championship Sunday, just 12 hours away tomorrow. 4 more games, all brought to you by FloHoops. And Coach, a 22-6 lead for the number 12 team in the land. And, well, they forced 7 turnovers. They continue to just dominate as Celia Riviere wasting no time to start the second.
and no let up when West Virginia goes to their bench. And in fact, at some positions, they even elevate. Riviere in the game, been really impressed with her early this year, and Coach Kellogg feels like was the best JUCO in the nation last year. She's been impressive.
Really nice finish by Elodie Lalat, the 5th-year Paris, France native, another Paris, France native, Cecilia Riviere, as you mentioned. Coach, you said even going into the tournament, she hadn't played a ton. But the Northwest Florida State junior college transfer, as you mentioned, you can see why they are so excited about what her ceiling could be in a WVU jersey.
Without question. She can step out and shoot the three. She can go down low. She fits nicely into their defensive schemes, and really young in her playing time at West Virginia so far, but yet very impressive.
6'3" junior, 3 years of eligibility to spend in Morgantown. How about this? The first turnover of the game for West Virginia. They forced 7 in that first quarter. A little miscommunication on that inbounds play. It's Maya Hansen back in the game for the Broncos.
You know, the other thing West Virginia does to you, and you see Boise State, they slow you down, get you thinking. Because they mix up defense so much, it takes a second if you're out on the floor to figure out what's coming at you.
That they're even in that zone because they move so fast. Well, how about this? Oh, well, it's not baseball season yet, but a fastball from J.J. Quinterly. Just a little overzealous, is unable to fit that hole, and Kaya Watson picking the pocket of Hansen. Broncos will keep possession. Oh, man, Kaya Watson. A one-man press turns into 2 more points for J.J. Quinterly. And right now, West Virginia, Press Virginia, making it look easy.
The warning by the official. West Virginia touching the ball after it goes through the net. You're not allowed to do that. Happens again, it'll be a technical. You get 1 warning. They're probably willing to use 1 warning a game, I'm thinking, to get their press set.
Facts.
It might even be part of their philosophy.
Is that a team warning, or is that on, because it was on Sydney Woodley, is it an individual tech or is it team tech?
It's a team warning.
Learn something new every day. Great ball movement. Boise State knocked down a shot they cannot, but kept alive by Lalat. Oh, looked like Danny Bays had found a mid-range jumper, bouncing around, won't fall. And Quinterly wasting no time. Kissing off the back of the rim, and Quinterly a rare miss around the rim. She off to just a 3-for-8 start. You wouldn't know it. As Danny Bays, she has been a silver lining. Came into this tournament only averaging 7 points per game. Off to a quick start. She's now got 6.
That's what Boise State's going to have to do to have a chance.
There she is, J.J. Quinterly.
And they're going to need a lot of them.
They're going to need a lot of them because here's another steal.
And
this time, Kaya Watson. She's already got 3 steals.
And this is a large part of West Virginia's offense. It is their defense and getting steals and scoring off the turnover.
Abby Muse checking back in for Lalat for Boise State. Sydney Shaw for West Virginia checking back in as Watson will get a well-deserved rest. Kaya Watson, her numbers don't necessarily stand out to you, but she's got 4 points, 5 boards, those 3 steals leading the way for this team who really has their eyes on that steal category every night. Kaya Watson defending the other team's best player. So good is David Thompson, a nice turnaround jumper.
Boise State doing a good job that possession, taking their time, getting the ball to the right people. They have to be careful with those cross-court passes, though. West Virginia's filling in the back side of that press, and those are very dangerous passes. You got to put a little muscle behind them.
Ball being moved around the perimeter for the Mounties. Here's Sydney Shaw, little 2-man game, looking for Riviere on the low block. Shot clock down to 3. Here's Jordan Thomas making it look easy in the face of the defense, and unfazed is Jordan Thomas.
How about Thomas putting the ball on the floor?
Saying, Coach, I'm a point forward, don't you know? Mounties back in that zone. Tatum Thomas with another elbow jumper drilled. Back-to-back possessions with a Tatum Thompson. She's got 4. Thompson had 10 points in their win against Illinois State yesterday, averaging 11 and 6 on the season. Jordan Harrison picking up that dribble, goes back to the handoff. Slice and Dyson thought she was on the wrong page with Jordan Thomas, and now Boise State will push the tempo. Blocked from behind. Nice play by Sydney Shaw. 32-15. As Coach Mark Kellogg will check back in his starting center. It's Kylie Blackston. Kylie, a fifth-year senior, a transfer in from Colorado. It was one of those big-time wins for Boise State, a 3-point victory over the Big 12 foe, the Colorado Buffs. Blackston's been a great addition in Morgantown as she pokes the ball loose.
I really enjoyed watching her play yesterday. She brings a lot of versatility at 6'4".
Boise State able to break the press. Looking to turn it back out as Thompson at the top of the key. Lines up the 3. No good. Another shot early in the shot clock, and to your point, Coach, you just never feel very settled when playing a defense as relentless as West Virginia.
No doubt. And another rush shot by the Broncos.
There's Blackson on the miss from Shaw. She'll be fouled and head to the line. 34-15. We should be taking immediate timeout, and we will. Mountaineers, the number 12 ranked Mountaineers, dominating, eyeing down about, I don't know, give or take 25 minutes with a potential looming matchup with the Longhorns tomorrow night. Welcome you back into Hertz Arena. It's the Gulf Coast Showcase on FloHoops, and well, those little Mountaineer fans are having a good time so far.
I would be too. How about these Mountaineers putting on a show down in Florida? They've already forced 10 turnovers and scored 16 points off of those turnovers.
Well, that has been the staple of Mark Kellogg. You know, Coach, he's got the 6th winningest active winning percentage than any Division I head coach in the country. A large part, in fact, is this defensive aggression. Paid dividends in the Big 12 just a year ago. You mentioned an early exit by the hands of Caitlin Clark in the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament, but now the standard set for Mark Kellogg in his 2nd year at the helm as Celia Riviere will be Charged with the foul, her first.
And West Virginia has been such a great fit, as you mentioned, for Coach Kellogg. A program that's really rich in tradition. 21 postseason appearances, 4 conference championships, 10 WNBA draft picks. Mike Carey coached there for many years, large part of that tradition and success at West Virginia. And Coach Kellogg has just been a perfect match for the Mountaineers and come in there and done just terrific job so far.
I mentioned those 10 WNBA draft picks, 31 All-American honorees as well. It feels like this team's got a couple that we could potentially add to that list, as Riviere going right back up with the offensive rebound. That their 7th already in this contest. 7 second chance points to none for Boise State. You can see they're starting to flex on the low block.
Again, Riviere can go down low, step outside, she rebounds. I agree with Coach Kellogg in that she's the #1 JUCO last year. I mean, I haven't seen anyone come close to making the transition as quickly as she has to the Division I level.
Well, when she was just up the road at Northwest Florida State, they actually did win the national championship last year, so quite literally the #1 team in the country. And in that run, she's such a key focal point. She was a second-team All-American. She was the most outstanding player during the tournament championship run. Junior College National Player of the Week 6 different times. We're talking about an elite-level scorer. Hailing out of Paris, France, and she's like the 2nd or 3rd player off the bench for the Mounties. You know, like,
they can go deep. As we mentioned earlier, there's not much let up. You know, we asked them yesterday in the post-game press conference today to compete amongst one another for the most steals in a game. I mean, they're leading the country in different categories, top 5, and a lot of categories individually. J.J. Quinterly kind of joked and said, "No, coach, we just play the way we play."
I know. I prefaced it with hey, this might be a dumb question, but it is funny to see kind of that competitive fire when it could be Sydney Woodley one night with 7 steals. It could be Jordan Harrison. It could be Shaw. Turnover on their own end, but every night I think this team's so dangerous because, yes, we know how insanely talented J.J. Quinterly is, right? Preseason Naismith watch list for a reason, but this team can beat you a plethora of different places. It's a long pass from Tatum to beat the press break. Now finally slowing down and backing into it. Thompson with a nice little dump off as Elodie Lalott cashes it in. Lalott with a nice start to this game. She's got 6 and 4, and coming off the bench for Coach Gordy Presnell in his 20th year. Lalott averaging 9 and 6, earning a whole lot more time. Really special player. Oh, back-to-back possessions with a turnover. As you can see, Kylie Blackston patting her chest, letting Quinterly know it was on her. Check back in, Kaya Watson.
And Coach Kellogg going to make a couple subs here. A little bit out of rhythm, out of sorts offensively. Those turnovers not really forced by Boise State. Just kind of miscommunication.
Boise State can't take advantage of it. Trailing by 16 with about 2:20 to go. In the first half, that is. This for Boise State, Jada Clark, a senior guard from Richland, Washington, getting her first action in the Gulf Coast Showcase. Here's Danny Bays. Bays, 3 off the front iron, no good as Harrison will corral and push. Here's Sydney Shaw in transition to the cross-court pass. Harrison hide behind the screen, will step back and deliver. Rebounded by Thompson. Jada Clark maybe getting into this ballgame for the first time and try to bring some kind of shooting presence. Boise State just shooting 21% from downtown, 35% from the field. There's Thompson into the teeth of the defense and a charge taken by Jordan Harrison. That'll be Thompson's second.
Harrison down there at the trees, not afraid to take the charge.
Well,
Coach, that kind of scared me a little bit. A little itty-bitty down there, getting run over.
Well, we were scared for a different reason yesterday. You and I almost taking a charge when Harrison came crashing into our scorer's table, but looking a whole lot bigger.
And I believe they were up like 25 when she's running out of bounds trying to save a ball. Just speaks to the discipline, the work ethic, tenacity of this Mountaineer team. Lalott hanging on to Thompson's neck there. The official didn't see it. She's holding on for dear life.
And
Thompson didn't even feel her.
She was giggling running up the court, too. Jordan Thomas. You see a tie up on the floor to be a jump ball. Possession will remain with Boise State, but you can see Jordan Thomas right there through the weeds, laughing, heading up the floor. She was the number 79th ranked player in this country, number 8th ranked player in the state of Texas, which is really saying something. She was a 1,000-point scorer in high school, but almost 800 rebounds as well. It's a big-time recruit from Coach Kellogg to get up into Morgantown. Is off to the races yet again. A dime from Quinterly to Harrison. Harrison with a nice hezzy. Pump fake from Shaw in the corner. And the Mounties. That is West Virginia basketball. Lead back to 21. Nice find underneath from Lalott. Lalott initiating contact and a tough finish to get it back under the 20-point threshold.
As you mentioned, really impressed by her. Someone that's going to be crucial to the success, possibly the X factor for the Broncos as they head back home in a couple weeks and start conference play.
They were preseason to finish number 4, and you're right, Elodie Lalott going to be huge if they're going to take down the likes of Colorado State and other in the West Coast Conference. But this, before the half, Shaw, she's loving that spot on the floor.
Why not another one?
I was going to say, Sydney Shaw, kind of like DJ Khaled. 1 of 3, how about another one? The Mounties on the back of 3 threes from Sydney Shaw. She's got a team-high 11, and they lead by 22 as we head to the half. The Gulf Coast Showcase will roll on in approximately 15 minutes of time. The number 12 team in the land looking just that.
Sydney has made 5 of our 6 threes in this tournament. Yeah. What's up? No, so it's me for the first 2 and then you for the last segment. So for the first segment, basically just basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tee up the highlights and I'll basically just say here's how the first half sounded, and then you can just play all the highlights you've cut in a row. And then I'll take it out and toss a break, okay? So I'll do like a quick little recap of the first half and then say, here's how it sounded. Play all the highlights in order, and then I'll throw the break. What's Debbie doing here? Oh, really? Wow, okay. I was like, don't tell me Debbie's kicking y'all off the air. State 23 at halftime of the semifinal matchup here at the Gulf Coast Showcase from Hertz Arena in Fort Myers, Florida. David Kahn with you. Let's take a look back at how this first half unfolded. West Virginia really shot the basketball exceedingly well in the first quarter, outscoring Boise State by 16, 22-6. In the second quarter, Boise State woke up, going from 15% in the first to 53% in the second, but West Virginia started to see more contributions from Jordan Thomas and Sidney Shaw, who buried a couple of three balls late. Sidney Shaw leading the scoring for West Virginia with 11 points, and here's how it all sounded.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into day 2 of the women's side of the Gulf Coast Showcase. Jack DeLongchamp alongside Marlene Stallings. And Coach, a 22-point lead for the West Virginia Mountaineers. And Sydney Shaw, Coach, she's got 6 of the 7 3-pointers made all tournament for West Virginia.
Yeah, she has just been on fire for the Mountaineers from 3, 50% in this game already, 3 made threes. And I tell you what, the numbers are just staggering for West Virginia. They already have 18 points off turnovers, oftentimes a game goal for most teams. 28 points in the paint, a lot of those off of layups. And then you look at Boise State. We said in the beginning, for them to have a chance to hang around this West Virginia team, they would need to be hot from the three-point line. They want to take them. They take 24 a game, but shooting only 21% from 3. And credit the West Virginia defense, of course. They sped up a lot of those threes, rushed them, really just have the Broncos discombobulated.
The 3 numbers going into this matchup, 30.5, 14.5, 16.5. They force 30.5 turnovers per game, number 1 in the Big 12, number 2 in the country. 14.5 is the turnover margin, number 1 in the Big 12, number 2 in the country. And 16.5 steals per game, that's number 1 in the Big 12, number 2 in the country. And Coach, the only team in front of them in all 3 categories, the Texas Longhorns.
Very interesting information right there, and what could be a big-time matchup tomorrow. Texas, number 4, number 5 in the country, AP and coaches poll against this just really talented West Virginia team. Been impressive to this point in the season. 20-plus point win at home against Texas A&M. 20-plus point win against Pitt out of the ACC. And it's just November.
And this, again, this is going to be a good-looking win because I think this Boise State team is primed to make a big-time run. They were able to somewhat keep pace in that first half with Elodie Lalott. Boise State SID extraordinaire Alex Sedamani, he let us know. Elodie Lalott, she's had 3 quarters this season with 8-plus points. She helped pace the way for the Broncos with 8 in that second quarter on a perfect 4 of 4 shooting. She, coming off the bench, will do so again here in the second half as narrow inbounds to Muse. Nice handoff as Watson into the chest of Tatum Thompson. Lead still at 22 as a minute into the third quarter is Natalie Pascoe. Pascoe, who had a game-high 18 yesterday in their exciting thriller of a win against Illinois State, held scoreless. I think that was a premature buzzer. Or did we get the foul before the shot clock violation? Looks like we're going to have a charge on Natalie Pascoe. That's her first.
Just nothing easy for the Broncos. West Virginia, I mean, I have to kind of remember to breathe over here. A suffocating defense. I catch myself, hold my breath at times.
I do. I think I do have secondhand anxiety for every backcourt player that's got to play West Virginia this year.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can't fake it against them. I mean, you genuinely have to have fundamental skill set. You have to be able to dribble, handle the ball, pivot. We've talked about that in each game that we've covered for West Virginia, but you really do. It's not a game that you're going to be able to fake your skill set. They're going to exploit you.
Well, if anyone was able to handle this type of pressure, it's the 20-year man, Gordy Presnell. He's got the Broncos up to a 6-0 start, only one of 34 teams in the country still undefeated. Looking to go 7-0 for the 6th time in program history and the 3rd time.
Speaking of ball handling.
Not bad, kept it alive over here, kept it alive over here.
Way to represent the table.
Come on, Coach, how to do it. That was off ball, too, with the left hand, trying to keep that alive, keep the game moving. Just trying to make Coach Kellogg happy. I know he likes quick pace of play. Trying to stay on brand.
Impressive.
Nice shot up and under from Watson. Is another block from Abby Muse. Muse with her block in the first half with 284. Officially now double Stephanie Block, who's second in program history with 142. So she's doubled that number. And another block for Abby Muse.
It's a block machine.
We jinxed it. That one a foul.
Yeah.
2 blocks on the game from Muse. What an incredible number. 285 now on the career. Closest to it is Stephanie Block, like I mentioned, with a $142, and Muse A fifth-year player spending all 5 seasons in Boise, averaging 3.5 blocks per game. We told you with now 24 on the season, it's good enough for 6th in the country.
What a program Coach Presnell has built with the Broncos. As you mentioned, 20-year veteran. Does it the old-fashioned way, keeps players, runs a fundamental program, a clean program, and almost always competitive.
In a difficult conference, too. The Mountain West is tough hoops. Here's the lot. Nice pass to Thompson. Thompson pull up mid-range, no good. Watson pulls in her 6th rebound. That's a game high. Harrison using the Watson screen, finds Shaw in the corner. We told you Shaw with a team high and game high points. A couple threes. Blackston looking to join her. Won't be able to nail the straightaway 3. Mary Kay narrow dishing. J.J. Quinterly in her pocket. Double down on Thompson. Nice backdoor. Pasco. And a charge. Another one taken. This time from Sydney Shaw. Taking advantage of a Mountaineer, maybe jumping a passing lane. You finally free up a lane to the basket. They'll be there waiting selflessly to take a charge. This West Virginia defense has held Boise State to just 23 points. This is a team averaging 79 on the year. Quinterly misses. Here's Pasco out in transition. She getting rid of it early. There they go. Can't get Natalie Pasco rolling. 18 yesterday, averaging 11 per game, just her 4th today.
Broncos going to try a little bit of zone.
The Broncos in those passing lanes. Nice work by Tatum Thompson as Danny Bays checks back in. I don't think we can accredit that game against Illinois State enough. I've been lucky enough to be here with the BD group all week. I do think that Illinois State-Boise State game to kick things off yesterday was the best game I've had all week here, Coach. I know that I can't speak for you, but, man, Danny Bays, that winner at the end was so exciting.
Well, it was exciting. Fun game to call. Fun game to be a part of. It's always nice when it comes down to the wire. How about Shaw? She is just unbelievably hot in this game and consistent with her shooting numbers. I mean, she can fill it up.
Look at Shaw now back on the hardwood. Elodie Lalott will be fouled by Blackston, but if you're talking about consistency, Sydney Shaw is just that. A junior from Miami, Florida, transferred from Auburn a few years ago, but shoot 44% clip from downtown. She had 2 threes yesterday. Shaw, who is now 3 for 6 from downtown, has got 15 today, right on that 44% clip, 50% from downtown today. She's got all the threes today for West Virginia, but there's only been 1 3 from a Mountaineer in the last 24 hours that's not been from Sydney Shaw. Lott misses the front end. And the deficit remains at 24. 5:40 to go. I'll inform you all, coming out of the break, we'll have a very special guest, Mr. John Gibbs, one of the most ultimate advocates of the game of women's basketball right now. Super excited to interview him coming out of our next commercial break. Oh, not as excited as we were to see Sydney Shaw potentially throw up another 3 as they dig down to Thomas. Thomas to Quinterly. Shot clock at 8. Quinterly kicking to Harrison. Harrison wants a wing 3. It no good, but who's there waiting? Sydney Shaw. Offensive rebound keeps it alive. Now it's Kyle Watson's turn for a shy. And guess who's there? Sydney Shaw hitting the hardwood. Ball kept alive. Harrison saves it, crashing into the West Virginia bench. How exciting is Mark Kellogg's group and his second year at the helm? The Mountaineers lead by 23. Special guest interview right after this short break. Well, as we welcome you back into the Hertz Arena, a very special guest joined with us at the table. It's Mr. John Gibbs. John, a huge fan and advocate of the women's game, obviously a huge contributor to the K-Yow Fund. We appreciate you joining us, sir.
Well, thank you for having me.
John is a celebrity on the sideline at women's games. Huge fan. How many games have you watched already this year?
This year, I've watched through tomorrow will be 70, and 12 of those, or 16 of those in person.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and the season started November 4th. I did watch a couple of games earlier. You know, South Carolina had a big game that they played on October 15th, so I got a couple in ahead of November 4th, but not many.
And John tells me he's still working. Like, how do you do that?
I do go to work every day, even though I passed retirement age many years ago. But I love women's basketball, so I get to watch. I try to catch a game or two at the office on the computer, and then one or two when I go home at night. Weekends I'll get 4 to 8, depending. And when the NCAA tournament starts, the first 2 rounds that go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll watch 24 games on those 4 days.
And let's not forget to mention your wife, Sue.
My wife, Sue, huge fan also. We're huge fans. This is our passion. It's what we do with our time, our spare time, and it's our hobby and passion. We love it.
Well,
and,
you said you love basketball. Women's basketball loves you, loves your wife, Sue. Talk to us a little bit about what the K-Yow Fund has meant to you. I know that you all are big supporters. K-Yow, the legendary coach at NC State, for those of you that may not know, fought valiantly against cancer for many, many years, continued to coach while she was battling cancer. And after her passing, they created the K-Yow Fund. And John and his wife, Sue, have been real big supporters of that fund for many years now.
And the fund it does an amazing job. It raises a tremendous amount of money to help with all forms of women's cancer. And but if you're a basketball fan, you almost have to be a fan of the K-Yow Cancer Fund because one, it's the women's basketball fund of choice or charity of choice, and also their board is a who's who in women's basketball. So if you know the people on the board, you know everybody who's in women's basketball. You know the VP of the NCAA over women's basketball is on the board. Many Hall of Famers are on the board. It's a fun place to hang out if you love women's basketball.
Well, Mr. Gibbs, Sydney Shaw has been an absolute blast. So much fun to watch her play as she knocks down her 4th triple. They extend the lead now to 30.
You know, this is a great team. I don't know if you guys watched the second round of the NCAA tournament last year, but this West Virginia team played Iowa, almost knocked them off. J.J. Quinterly was phenomenal in that game. She was guarding Caitlin Clark and held that Iowa team to under 70 points. I mean, so
they had a beat, didn't they?
They almost beat them.
Well, I ask you, this is the number 12 team in the land. You've seen a lot of basketball, sir. Is there a team over the past, decade that you maybe have most enjoyed watching in person?
Oh, there's a lot of teams that I love to watch. If you love women's basketball, you love to watch UConn. They're fun to watch. South Carolina over the last several years has been fun to watch. Right now, today, I'm really excited about UCLA because they are really, really good. I watched them play South Carolina the other day, and man, they whipped them up pretty good. I mean, they're awesome. So they're going to be a fun team to watch. I love watching USC this year. Juju Watkins is fun to watch. Oh. And Notre Dame, I love watching Hannah Hidalgo, and her and Miles have been playing phenomenally, and there's some great teams out there.
Well, before we let you go, talk a little bit about this tournament and your history of coming here. I think the tournament's 11 years old now. You've been here to almost every single tournament, right?
It started 11 years ago. We missed the first 2 years. We didn't find out about it till the 3rd year, so we've been coming 9 years in a row. And I'd like to thank Brooks Downing and Debbie Antonelli for putting this on. They have allowed us to come. We kind of help out with the player gifts. Gift bags, and so we've been able to come in, and we just love this tournament. Great teams come here. Also, the venue is phenomenal. I mean, it's nice, it's warm, it's a beautiful environment. The hotel, the Hyatt, Hyatt Regency, Coconut Point. Yeah. Coconut Point?
Yes.
It's an amazing place. Some of the players, I heard them say the other day, they said they drove up, in a bus, and they looked at this thing and said, I can't believe we're staying. It looks like it's just gorgeous.
It's like paradise.
It's like paradise. And the views out of the rooms over the ocean are spectacular. They got ponds and pools and a water park, and it's an amazing venue. We love it.
Spectacular.
Love
and
it.
Before we let you go, a big thank you to you and Sue. Continued thank you for supporting our game so much. John and his wife are very humble, but they're very giving to the sport of women's basketball financially, and we appreciate you so much for that.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, Coach, let me ask you a question. I think what if we want to be ambassadors and advocates of the game like Mr. John and Miss Sue, what would your advice be to those who maybe want to become a fan of this sport? I know we said last question, but I couldn't help myself. Like, I'm getting inspired talking with you.
Well, I think in general it's a great time to be part of the women's game. John and Sue got in it before this big Caitlin Clark bonanza started, but I mean, it's trending upward. It's a great time to be part of our game, and it's just really been fascinating to watch the growth.
No, I agree totally with that. The game is growing, and people are starting to watch. And this year, I follow the WNBA a little bit, not near as much as I do college. But last year in the WNBA, when they did the voting for the All-Star game, I think the top voter, player got 70,000 points. Oh. This year in the voting, I think the top player got 750,000 points, like multiple of 10 times. I mean, so that shows people are really stepping up, starting to watch, getting excited about the sport, all levels.
No doubt. We really appreciate you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
We're going to step aside and allow Mr. Gibbs to go back and enjoy the game. We reached the 2-minute and 44-second mark. Going to take a little bit of a breather. See on the other side, Mountaineers still up by 32. Oh, we welcome you. Welcome you back into the...
Right, just in time for a J.J. Quinterly stealing behind the back pass.
Working on our headsets over here at the tables. We welcome you back in just in time for another incredibly impressive J.J. Quinterly performance. But, as we shuffle these headsets over here at the desk, what an awesome opportunity, Coach, to have a guy like John Gibbs come over and just talk about the state of college basketball.
Yes, he and his wife, Sue, just been invaluable and on the front end in many ways of supporting women's basketball. He humbly said that helped out with the gift bags. Well, they helped provide just awesome gift bags for each of the players in the tournament. And again, the game is so grateful and thankful for their generosity over the years.
I think that's the coolest part, for no other reason other just to make these young student athletes feel special, right? Like how cool of a cucumber is Sydney Shaubin today? She's up to 20, for goodness sakes. Oh, scary collision on the other end. Great defense by Kai Watson, but Danny Bayes taking a nasty fall. WV will have numbers as Woodley will pull things out and slow it down.
Just dominating performance by West Virginia. I continue to be so impressed by them. I'm really eager to see how they do throughout Big 12 play, and especially come March. I think this team can make a deep run in the NCAA tournament.
This on the other end, Maya Hansen will pull things out. Danny Bays with a deep three off the back iron, and Quinterly corral the long board. She getting out into transition, into the chest of the defense. Look at the body control. What a special player. Quinterly's got 14.
Just makes it look easy. She kind of going down the floor, kind of bored looking, and decides she wants to turn on the Jets and go on in for the layup.
Looking at now a 13-2 run over the last 4 minutes of play for WVU. It's a Boise State team as LD Lalop putting the ball on the hardwood. Nice little power dribble to get to the rim. This is a Boise State team that's averaging 78 points per game. They've held them to 28 through nearly 3 quarters. To me, it should be Lalop at the line, right? Or are they going to take it out underneath? Say the foul occurred before she will take the shot as Sydney Shaw will check out. Up to 20 points. That ties a career high for her. And she had 20 against Towson in their season opener this year. And goodness gracious, if they can get Sydney Shaw alongside Jordan Harrison and J.J. Quinterly, this is a dangerous scoring threat for West Virginia.
And you know, that's the thing that makes West Virginia so dangerous, in my opinion. You know, people like to talk about defensive teams, and that's their focus, and that's all they do. This West Virginia team has weapons on the offensive end of the floor. They can score. They have three-point shooters. They have the ability to go down low and post up. They have quick guards who can drive and score, drive and kick. They're a complete team.
This is Natalie Pasco.
I think one of the things for West Virginia as they go deeper into the season is focus and attention to detail on the boards. I think that's something that Coach Kellogg alluded to yesterday, and something that he wants to see them continue to get better at. They're so good in so many areas, but obviously as a coach, you're always critiquing and always wanting and needing to challenge your team to grow, because the ultimate goal is March, and how far and deep can you go into a tournament, and how big of a run can you make, and they'll definitely have to become good rebounders to make a deep run.
They're leading by just 8 on the rebounding margin so far today as Pasco misses the second. Quinterly will push, finds Woodley at the end of the quarter. Back iron to the dismay of that WVU bench. Another dominant showing as West Virginia leads 62-29 here at the Gulf Coast Showcase, all brought to you by FloHoops. As we welcome you back into the Hertz Arena, see Celia Riviere staying right in front of us, getting ready to inbound to J.J. Quinterly in our fourth quarter underway.
She's even taller than I realized. Standing right here in front of us, I'm like, had to keep leaning back further and further to see the top of her head.
Checking in for the first time today as well for West Virginia. That was Destiny Agubata, who's going to force the turnover almost immediately.
How about that? That's what West Virginia does. Avabado getting in and coach able to go deep into his bench. And what does she do? She forces a turnover right away.
Right on brand. Next man down, next man up. Also checking in is the senior forward from Oklahoma City. It's Tirsa Moore for the first time this tournament. As Quinterly lines up a corner three, no good. Rebounded by Pasco, and Hanson will wisely slow things down. A wide open three on the wing for Boise State, and it has just been that kind of ball game for the Broncos. That was Millie Sharp, the freshman guard from Australia, her first action.
I'll tell you what, Jack, I've been able to call 5 of the top 25 teams in the country right now in women's basketball, and West Virginia sitting in that 12th spot in the rankings. I think they're a top 10 team right now at this point in the season, without question, of the teams I've seen and been able to watch, and looking at the ratings and rankings. I think they're very deserving to be in the top 10.
Well, things remain the same, and Texas able to take care of business tonight. Coach, I'm curious, with that knowledge of the women's top 25 today, what do they need to do to make that next jump? Obviously, a test with the Longhorns tomorrow will tell us a lot, but what does it look like for you for them to feel comfortable as a potential number 1 or number 2 seed in the tournament this year?
Yeah, well, a lot of work to do, obviously, a lot of basketball ahead, but just looking at right here, right now, I mean, there's so many things you can't account for that far ahead, but injury and so forth. But I think a healthy West Virginia team in March is not a team anybody's going to want to see.
It was good. That's one of those probably questions that any coach in the country would hate. Like, I think Mark Kellogg would try to fight me for asking such a silly question. A lot of room to improvement, and again, beating teams that they should beat, but doing so in a manner that's just so impressive is Quinterly dancing around the paint. Kick out to Woodley to Agubata. Shot clock down to 3. Nice step back from Agubata. Drills the short corner. Hadn't played all day. No rust for the freshman guard from Moreno Valley, California.
Agubata saying, Coach, I'm going to earn some more minutes. We talked throughout the tournament of when some.
Agubata to Harrison. Harrison defended by Gardner at the top, dumping down. There's the first basket of the game for Tirsa Moore.
Riviere just really been impressed with her court vision. We talked about her ability to score, but a great passer.
Obviously, the opportunity to keep your starters' legs a little fresh here at the start of the fourth quarter. Do you think we've seen the last of Quinterly and Shaw and company?
Perhaps, barring any kind of a run from the Broncos, West Virginia will definitely be able to keep their core group on the bench as long as they would like the rest of the way.
This ball movement from Coach Gordy Presnell's group. He's got only just one starter in the game. It's Abby Muse. As Taryn Jada Clark. He's got 3 freshmen on the floor. An opportunity for them to maybe get their first taste of, oh, this is college basketball.
And coach, a legend at Boise State. He definitely wants to get those youngsters out here, let him get a taste of this. Also, you know, coaches are big picture thinkers. He can utilize this later on in the season. Invaluable experience for the Broncos to go against this type of intensity.
Yeah, with a win yesterday, moved to 7-0 for just the 3rd time in program's history. Looks like that run going to end today, but a lot to still be excited about. They'll await a potential matchup if they are unable to make a 30-point run in the next 7 minutes against either Texas or Butler tonight. They'll have their hands full at potentially a Butler-Boise State matchup. It feels like the way that both of these two teams move the basketball, that could be a really fun matchup.
That could be a juggernaut.
Is Big East technically a mid-major, Coach? I know that I don't want to call Butler a mid-major and their fans come hunting for me, but.
Well, I tell you what, in basketball, and in particular on the men's side, I think they're
I know it's not
as
P4,
close to
but
any
I was going to
P4
say.
as there is. I think they use some other fancy lingo.
I was going to say the reigning 2-time national champions in that Big East conference, but Rebound fought after as Agubata crashing into Taryn Gardner. That'll be Agubata's second.
We haven't talked about Grandma today, Jack.
You want to?
Grandma watching?
Is your dad watching?
Oh, yeah.
He's locked in. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Folks are locked in.
I got to, yes. Yes,
Gotta give a shout out to Grandma.
Grandma up in Parkersburg, West Virginia, told the story yesterday. For those that are just hanging out with us, my grandfather actually was the Mountaineer in the early 70s, played JV basketball for this West Virginia team, so truly an honor to be able to call a game with this brand. It's a nice straightaway jumper from Taryn Gardner, her 3. She's got 5 on the contest, but yeah, it's been cool, and obviously for Coach Kellogg to have an awesome team too has made it, obviously that even cooler of an opportunity is going to work on that low block. Let's tear some more.
No doubt Mountaineer Nation is hyped about this team, and like we said, they've been drawing bigger and bigger crowds at home with each win. It's going to be an exciting year.
They can knock off a team that many in Morgantown dislike mightily as Taryn Gardner starting to get it going. The freshman averaging 5 a night. She's got 8. But you get a colossal win, like I said, against a team that is not heavily loved in Morgantown in Texas tomorrow night. Whew. I got to imagine you can see an almost sold-out crowd at the next WVU home game.
Yeah, and credit to the Mountaineer fans. They've traveled well here to Florida. Nice little reprieve from the cold coming down south.
But they have. Let's go Mountaineers, as they got another freshman to root for, Agubata. A straightaway 3, her first. Coach Presnell sending Alyssa Christensen to the line as Libby Hutto finds Gardner in the corner. Does she have another 3? Ooh, heat check for Gardner. Coach Kellogg sending Zaya Nugent, who we saw in the fourth quarter in yesterday's contest, to the scorer's table as well. Jordan Harrison fighting to get into the basket, will be fouled by Jada Clark, and we have reached our final media timeout of the evening. When we come back, West Virginia with that 71-39 lead. It'll be the Mountaineers, and then post-game potential interview with Coach Kellogg. Hear about their post-game victory. Well, we welcome you back into the Hertz Arena. It wasn't a great day for that Mountaineer football team on the gridiron, but an awesome day on the hardwood as they lead 71-39. And as Texas fans wait, doing a potential scouting report for what would be Championship Sunday. Good time to be a Mountaineer women's basketball fan.
A fun time to be a Mountaineer basketball fan, too. I mean, just what a joy to watch this team. They work so hard. West Virginia known for coal mining and of the such, and just blue-collar type state, and they're going to really get behind this team who is very much a blue-collar, hard-working team.
I think that's what's so much fun about this. Coach Kellogg has orchestrated this roster, and he coaches in such a way that's so representative of their fan base, so representative of the state of West Virginia. And I know we've joked about it, but I can speak on behalf of my awesome family. We're crazy. They're nuts about West Virginia sports. It feels like a rule when you cross state lines, the song starts to play. Mountaineer Nation very proud of the group that Coach Kellogg has put together. We said in their second season at the helm. Last year, 25 wins in his first season is the most in program history for a first-year coach. Celia Riviere pulling down the board, and Woodley kicking it out. Moore, and one finish. How good has Tiersa Moore been? A perfect 3 for 3 from the field. Now a three-point opportunity.
Well, Coach Kellogg has to really like his bench production. When you play the type of defensive scheme that he likes to play, having the ability to go deep into your bench is very helpful because it does require a lot of energy and effort. And at some point, you do wear down a little bit playing that type of style.
Coach Kellogg has just checked in his 12th player today. It's Danelle Argbabu, the German native, transferring in from Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. 6'4", great size. Looks like the end of the day for the West Virginia starters is imminent. Told you before going to half, we're going to have the winning coach, appears to be Coach Kellogg, and a player of their choice. I got to imagine Sydney Shaw, who ties a career high with 20, dating back to just a few weeks ago against Towson in their season opener. That could be a candidate. But, Coach, again, that backcourt, whether it be Harrison or Quinterly, has a really nice move from Nugent. Her first 2 points. I think for us, like you said, well, we know that we can rely on those two in that backcourt, but it's nice to know that they can score in a lot of different positions and in a lot of different ways.
So important when you want to make a run come March.
Nice swing 3 from Melissa Christensen. Nice find from Nugent. Back to Moore underneath, unable to finish. Christensen will run the floor, but not before having her pocket picked by Woodley. Woodley, who had 7 steals yesterday, that just her second, as Argbabu knocking down the lay. A lot of smiling faces as Danelle Argbabu made her career debut just against Loyola Maryland. Had 9 against Niagara a year ago with West Virginia. And again, every position so deep. It's nice to know when you plug in a Danelle Argbabu, like if you ever get into foul trouble down low. Big German you can rely on is Coach Kellogg, checking in for the first time, not only today, but in the tournament, is Fadiel Defna Atalla, the Turkey native. So the Atalla family, I hope I pronounced that right. I think I did. Also checking in, number 24, Ashala Mosberry, the Madison, Wisconsin native. Giving the opportunity for some walk-ons on the end of that bench to see some action here at the Gulf Coast Showcase.
Think they're watching us over in Turkey?
I don't know, it'd be pretty cool. I bet Flow Sports, I don't know how large their demographic in Turkey is, but if we are dialed in, I'm going to be pretty excited.
Yeah. Shout out to anyone in Turkey that might be following us today.
Shout out to Turkey on that Turkey Day weekend.
What is it? It's probably already Sunday there, yeah?
Oh.
Big time zone shift. Maybe middle of the morning.
I can't count that high. Math is not mathing for me right now. Officials will reset the shot clock. Not sure if we did our due diligence and made sure to show the love to Michael McConnell, Natasha Cami, and Brady Maxey. Our officials today have done an awesome job. These two teams will really play through, and obviously it's got to be tough to officiate West Virginia as well, as their defense so relentless. Doesn't matter if they're up 30, down 30. Looks like they almost draw another steal. It's at the top of the key, the senior guard, Jada Clark. A wide open wing 3 from the corner, knocked down. That's Allie Heckman with a big wing 3.
Coach Presnell calls timeout there, but just to sub one of his players in.
And how cool of a moment is this? That player checking in, that's Mackenzie Narrow, one of the three sisters represented in this tournament, the Narrow family, who's present. Got to meet them the other day. Their mom, the Beaverton High School head coach. She got to coach Mackenzie. And obviously her sisters, Mary Kay, and the Bronco Nation being well represented by the Narrow family. Game clock under 2 minutes. Shot clock now down to 10 for Boise State. Oh, suffocating defense and a slipping fall for Jada Clark, in West Virginia will take advantage with numbers. Nugent, nice feed underneath. Turkey proud as Atella finishes around the rim. The officials will stop play. They'll come and clean up that spot from the fall from Jada Clark. Gives us another opportunity to shout out to the country of Turkey. I'd be very curious to see those numbers. I'm not sure what the viewership here at FloHoops is. I know it's probably through the roof, but I wonder what the demographic in Turkey dialed in on a Saturday afternoon is for FloHoops.
I'm guessing our family is grouped together at somebody's house, having a nice meal, and taking in this game.
Got to see a sweet little basket. And the reward is, again, 1:14 to go.
Let's say the name again. Give them a shout out back home in Turkey.
The Atella family.
Yes, the Atella family.
Give me a shout. Coach me up. I do believe. I've got the pronunciation guide. The communications department with West Virginia has been so awesome all week. Make sure we have all of this information at our hands so we can be the best ambassador for all programs involved here at the Gulf Coast Showcases. Roseberry will turn it over.
From a geographic standpoint, she probably feels right at home in the mountains.
Oh.
Very similar to the landscape in parts of Turkey.
I think the people are the same too. You got West Virginia family.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
West Virginia in the blood.
Corner three no good. Is Nugent able to pull it in? She taking that charge with a minute to go, by the way. Big collision. It pretty much says everything you need to know about this Mountaineer team.
Oh, almost a bucket.
I was going to say, Turkey was going to go nuts if she hit a second layup. Zatella, the freshman, she got to play in that first career game against Towson. Zatella was tabbed as the MVP of the U19 Turkish League just a season ago.
And again, I'm very thankful that West Virginia doesn't have the musket here. Gave me heart failure every time they shoot that off at a home game. But about this time, I want to cue up Country Roads for the West Virginia Mountaineers. Are we able to do that on here?
Do it. Go for it, Coach. Not sure what the copyright loads are, but
John Denver, here we go.
Makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes.
is this it? I think it's early in the song. Not sure what the copyright laws are, but Coach, you got me hook, line, and sinker.
Tell a tale. Sure
Oh, that's sunshine on my shoulders,
to make you
Coach.
smile.
Wrong song. We don't care. Any John Denver's good for the state of West Virginia's. We await a potential player to come hang out with us. It looks like Sydney Shaw got to come hang out with us. A West Virginia monstrous victory, 82-47. And we'll be joined with Sydney Shaw. Yeah. Sydney Shaw asking if she has to come sit here. No, she gets to come sit with us and talk about her big-time victory. An 82-47 win. And as we get the headset ready to rock and roll for Sydney Shaw, a career high, tied for a career high, excuse me, Sydney.